Hello, this is Dread, and in today's video topic, if you didn't know, recently in the ARPG space, there was a release that kind of made a lot of people turn away from it, and now they're looking for other options. And in this case, that might be Last Epoch. And if you're one of those people, welcome. So, today's video, we're going to be going over 3 builds that I think are really fun while also being slightly lazy. Unfortunately, I have to just be completely honest with you. Currently, in the space of Last Epoch, there aren't many builds that allow you to be completely lazy. There's no super duper auto bombers that allow you to turn off your brain. And usually one button builds are either expensive or they're very bad. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've watched other people tell me and show me that their 1 button or 0 button builds look great, and either it has the investment of multiple loans and houses under it, or it just sucks and it takes them 5 hours to kill a boss. So what I come to you today with is what I call lazy adjacent. What is lazy adjacent? The idea here is we are trying to be as lazy as possible while also having a good build. Because, like I said before, you can't just play a lazy build in Last Epoch because you need to do damage. Bosses in the end game have large amounts of HP, which means you need to do damage. The only few builds that are lazy because they're either broken, bugged, and need nerfed. Like a good example here, Storm Totem is slightly lazy, but you still have to press a few buttons. But Storm Totem is slightly lazy, but that's because it's doing like 5 bajillion more damage than it's supposed to be. So today, we're going to be talking about builds that are strong while also being slightly lazy so that you don't have to, play an ensemble every single time that you want to kill a pack of white mobs. So that's what I have for you today here. Now, if you haven't already, I would heavily suggest leaving a like on the video and subscribing to the channel, as that's the best way of currently supporting me, and it's the best way to show me that you want more content like this, and it's also the best way to make sure that this video meets all of those other wayward souls that might be having problems right now. So we're just going to pull off the band-aid and we're immediately going to go for the throat. And the first thing off is going to be Tornado Werebear. So this is a build that I recently did a 0 to hero run with. Remember, all of these builds on this list have been tested thoroughly by me, i.e. I played it in solo character found, meaning a fresh start, leveled it all the way from level 1 in a fresh start to 10 out of 10 harbingers, and this is one of them. So the idea here is we cast a lot of tornadoes. Thankfully, tornadoes, they shoot out lightning bolts that cast for us. All we have to do is just simply spam right click on the ground, turn into a motherfucking werebear, and then run around. That is all you need to do to make this build function. So the concept of the build is you throw out a bunch of tornadoes. Those tornadoes shoot out lightning. Those tornadoes do a very large amount of damage with that lightning. You empty your mana bar, you turn into werebear form, and then you profit. That is all you have to do. That is the only amount of brain power that you need to put into this build to function. It does the aiming for you. It does the feels good for you. It's got good survivability. It's got good damage. It's got way too much damage. It's probably going to get nerfed next patch, so if you want to have fun with this build, I would heavily suggest rolling it now, because there's odds are it's going to get thrown into the can. Like, it's going to get thrown into the can harder than, like, Flame Blast did. Like, trust me, there's no way that this survives next season, and if it does, I'm going to, like, pull my hair out. So, yeah. Storm Werebear. Oh, this build is so great. Now, of course, you do have to remember to do kind of like a combo, of course, but the combo is very brainless, okay? Like, it's very, like, turn your brain off. Once you get used to the combo, you can just turn your brain off and just have some fun. So, like I said, throw tornadoes on the ground, have them cast lightning for you and aim for you. They kill stuff, you turn into werebear form, and then all of your tornadoes do a lot more damage. If you want a more detailed explanation of how it works, check the link in the description. All right, next build. This is going to be Chthonic Fissure Infernal Shade Ailment warlock. So the idea with this build is we throw down a big rift of damage that will shoot out souls that hit enemies. Then we cast a skill on targets that causes an AoE explosion after one of those souls hits an enemy. The idea here is we can just plop down like one, chthonic fissure per screen, cast Infernal Shade once, and then let the magic do the work. It is essentially as close to ED Contagion as you can get, especially once you get access to something like Ghostmaker. So Ghostmaker allows you to shoot out Infernal Shades on kill, and this allows you to function without really pressing that much in endgame. Now, of course, on single target, you do have to DPS down the target a little bit by using, Infernal Shade and Chthonic Fissure, but thankfully, this build does enough damage that if you miss a few clicks here and there, or if you're feeling lazy, it's actually not that bad single target still, even when you're not actually pressing the Infernal Shade button. But trust me, the Infernal Shade button feels very good to press, especially on single target, just watching all of the dots tick up and ramp up. Like, this is amazing for you fellow brethren who like ED Contagion and want something very close to it, but also want to actually kill white mobs when you cast things on them. And if that is your jam, if that's what you want to do, then this Infernal Shade build is for you, because you can cast your Infernal Shade once or twice on a pack of mobs, and then Ghostmaker does the rest. Ghostmaker plus Chthonic Fissure is such a good combo for this kind of setup that, like, odds are it's probably going to be nerfed. By the way, it's actually already guaranteed to be nerfed, because the Spirit Plague tech that we use in the video, the one that gives us ward when we hit things, that's actually getting nerfed. Not a big deal though, because the power creep will probably make up for this. But still, this build's already guaranteed to be nerfed slightly next patch. So play it while it's hot, boys. Play it while it's hot. There'll be a link in the description. All right, the last build that we're going to be talking about today is going to be Volcanic Orb Runemaster. Do you just want to hold down right click and turn your brain off? Well, thankfully, Last Epoch has something slightly up your alley. So the idea here is we hold down Rune Bolt, generate copious amounts of mana, and then we hold down Volcanic Orb, and then the game does the rest for you, thankfully. Sometimes you'll have to teleport, sometimes you'll have to buff yourself using Ice Barrage, but other than that, no other button presses, just simply pure fun spell slinging. The idea is we just simply hold down Rune Bolt, make mana, then we cast Volcanic Orb, which is a large mana cost skill, but it's on a cooldown. Now, what's very nice about Last Epoch is it has a skill queuing system. So the idea is buttons on the left prioritize themselves versus buttons on the right. So for instance, we have Volcanic Orb on the left here, and that will keep casting until you run out of mana, or you can no longer cast it if it has a cooldown. Because of this, and because of the cooldown that it has, we can sneak in a few, Rune Bolt casts here and there, and Rune Bolt generates a lot of mana. So to just play the build in Monolith, all you have to do is hold down Volcanic Orb when you want to kill things, and then hold down Rune Bolt when you want to make mana and hit things. It's such a nice pairing of buttery smooth gameplay on top of having very good defenses, because you're a ward build. Remember, ward's getting slightly nerfed next patch, so if you want to have fun with pre 1.2 versions of ward, you better play this now, right? And you get to just have a gigantic cascade of a bunch of little small cold projectiles. Now, these cold projectiles from Volcanic Orb, a lot of the explosions and AoEs, they overlap, especially on bosses. If the boss is bigger than my thumb, it will take more than one Volcanic Orb hit per cast, like way more than that, and you will just unleash a cascade of hits upon your opponent, and these hit hard. They hit hard. This is one of my better zero to hero runs of all of these characters. It just does so much fucking damage. It's like having the power of a Sork in Last Epoch, where you have a bunch of mana and mana sustain, but you don't have to stack mana because you have Rune Bolt. Rune Bolt, unfortunately, is like a very bad skill for damage, but it generates so much fucking mana that it makes something like this possible. But yeah, so that's going to be it for this build. If you want to see it, it's in the description as well. Now, of course, this part of the video is where I'm supposed to tell you that, hey, Last Epoch is not that very hard of a game. You should play a build yourself and make a build yourself. I completely agree with this idea. Like, I would heavily suggest just logging in and having fun and making your own build. But if you needed some kind of guidance, well, there you go. With all that being said, this has been Dread. Off to go do something else. Bye.